So I'm not very up to speed because I'm not a farmer. But I've been hearing that John Deere has been torturing our American farmers for darn too long. It's really sad when there's a class action lawsuit called Farmers Against John Deere. You would think they would get along. You would hope so. But for anybody who's not aware, John Deere has been just scalping the shit out of them. They sell them a multi-million-dollar tractor that doesn't work for a month. Then when the farmer has to pull in his crop, which is his whole year's income, and he's got only so long to do it, it's very time sensitive, the tractor breaks down. They call up and John Deere says it'll be $3,500 to put an alternator on it, which should be a $200 job. I mean, for a tractor, maybe $500. But they're already, 6 or 7 times the price that it should be. And then the farmer says, that's ridiculous, I'll do it myself. So the farmer gets a $200 alternator, he straps it to the tractor, he plugs it all in, and the tractor says, nope, you have to register this alternator with John Deere or we're going to shut your whole machine down. And so the farmer calls up John Deere and says, hey, I need one of your guys to come out and register my alternator. And they say, sorry, we can't get around to that for 6 weeks. It's harvest season. We're really busy. And the farmers go get their shotgun. Hopefully not, but so that's what's been happening. John Deere has made the tractors so complicated, and then they've also intentionally made them impossible to repair without some farmer having to pay John Deere ridiculous extorted rates. And if that wasn't bad enough, John Deere is so incapable and incompetent to go with it all that they can't get the technician out there in time to fix the tractor, and the farmer has no choice but to go out and buy something else to get his work done. Well, I've got an idea. Caterpillar. My first idea was fuck John Deere, go out and buy one of those four tire, not tracks, but the four-wheeled bulldozer things. Hitch your implements to that. Now I understand the See and Spray won't connect up to the computer on the Caterpillar. But hear me out, your dad used to farm that field without any computers at all. He grew the corn, he grew the wheat, he grew just about as much as you do. He might have had to work a little harder, but let me tell you, working ain't so bad when it's not so darn frustrating. If it takes an extra hour a day, I mean, I don't know what you're doing now, but you talk to him, not me. I'm not a farmer. But your dad used to do it. And they did it without all this crap. And it probably was just a little bit more difficult. But they didn't spend half or 3/4 of their income paying John Deere and Monsanto and all these chemical companies. They used to keep what they made and eat good. And on one hand, I feel like the farmers are still rich enough to buy all these toys. I don't really want to hear them whining when there's people sleeping on the street. On the other hand, I think they deserve to get paid for what they do. I think they deserve to get paid at least minimum wage for the hours they put in, and I bet most of them don't. So, that was my first idea. Go out and buy a Caterpillar. You'll get a powerful, reliable, fantastic diesel motor that will pull anything you need to through that field. My next thought was, somebody call Caterpillar. Tell them to design a tractor. Their guys could probably have that done by the end of the day. Hardest part is going to be finding somebody to weld up the different shaped frame, and they have a welder on staff. They've got the parts, they've got the best motors in the world. They got the transmissions to put them in any gear, any speed you want. They know how to make big wheels and tires and drivetrains, and it really wouldn't be very difficult. But it'll only work, Caterpillar. It'll only work if you decide to not do what John Deere is doing. Don't load them up with lithium and cobalt and gold. That makes the tractor more expensive. And, it makes your costs higher. So, if Caterpillar were to produce a cheaper, more reliable, more powerful, probably more efficient on diesel, because Caterpillar, they're the top dog in this game. Tractor that the farmers could go out and buy one time and repair themselves, John Deere would be going out of business by, I don't know, I would say the end of the decade, but I don't think they would make it 2 or 3 seasons. Because the farmers are already struggling to farm their fields with this equipment. If they had an alternative, I mean, if somebody made an identical tractor to the John Deere one, painted it a different color, and charged an extra $10, they would sell more tractors than John Deere. Because the farmers hate John Deere now. But if you make a better tractor and sell it for less, yeah, okay, John Deere is going to try. They're going to have no choice. They're going to have 2 options. One is just declare bankruptcy, and the other, when everybody's calling with the returns and the whatever, the lemon laws and the right to repair complaints, because they're going through that already. Imagine if these guys had an alternative and they weren't worried about staying on good terms with their representative. All right. Yeah, John Deere, they'll try to make a tractor that's more cheaper and less bullshit and more reliable, but it'll be too late. And I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be better than the Cat. John Deere couldn't beat Caterpillar at their own game, is my personal opinion. And, Caterpillar got out of the on-road segment because they decided all the laws and legislations of that were just a little bit too much headache. I don't think it was even cost. It was just they didn't feel like doing it anymore. But they know how to build the equipment. They know how to sell the equipment. They know how to build customer reputations. They know how to transport and deliver the equipment. They know how to repair the equipment. And they are used to, I'll tell you, farming guys, Caterpillar's used to fixing stuff right away. All right? I'm not an expert in it, but I can tell you this much. When somebody has a multi-million-dollar bulldozer and they're trying to get the building built by the deadline and they call up Caterpillar, they don't tell them, yeah, we'll be there 3 months from now. They get it out there and they get it fixed. That's just my 2 cents. I think that would change the world. At least it would change the Midwest for sure. And I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be long till people would know just by the fact that you bought a Caterpillar that you had a great tractor. Like, my advice to Caterpillar, don't make any weak tractors. Make some budget tractors, but make them all more powerful than they need to be. Don't put a little motor in a single one. So when you hear the neighbor just bought a Cat, you're immediately jealous. You go pick up the brochure and you say, I got to get one too. Tell the farmers you'll have more fun farming. You'll make more money. And we won't jerk you around by the balls. And only the stupid ones will say no. Every farmer that I know of would say, yeah, let's get one of them. And in the short term, I'm telling you, you can change the tire size on a piece of equipment. Get you one of them tire loader things. Hook your implements up to it and somebody sue John Deere and tell them they have to make the See & Spray work with it. Or, if you have to, just go back to the old sprayer and do your math. I don't know your balance sheet, but do your math and see how much you're spending on the tractor versus how much you're saving on the See & Spray. Here's another thought. See which chemicals you can cut out. Because, people used to do it with none of them. I'm not saying go back to Amish farming. But I am saying Some of that stuff's got to be unnecessary. John Deere is selling you shit that you don't need. All right, if you can cut out a third of your chemical use, it won't really matter if you're less efficient spraying the other 2/3, or at least it'll help. Those are my 3 cents about it. That's really, I'm getting to the point where I'm speaking on things I don't really understand, but these are my breakthrough ideas. One, get rid of the John Deere. That's not a breakthrough. 2, buy an old tractor or a Caterpillar loader. Caterpillars are made to work hard, long, all day, every day. That's what you guys need. You know? They're made to be run on a business budget. They work great. They're reliable. They're long lasting. And they are not a bullshit company, so far as I know. Now, I don't remember the last time I bought a new Caterpillar, so make sure they're not doing the same stuff, and that's my advice to Caterpillar, is learn from John Deere's failure. Like, they may have pretty much a monopoly on a lot of stuff right now, but that's illegal. We need somebody else to join the game, beat them at the game. And I hate to say it, old John Boy, but I'd like to see him buried. And maybe not, but I would like to see that. I would like to see the American people stand up and say, we don't want that. Doesn't matter who you are, what good you've done. If you start stealing from us, we're going to go somewhere else. And that's what's happening. John Deere is not doing it by accident. John Deere is doing it on purpose because they want to take your money. And if you look at what the farmers are making, it seems like they're taking your money. There are alternatives. Kubota, this is a great time to step up. This is a great time. I mean, there's other companies out there that have been waiting for a piece of that pie, or a bigger piece of that pie. Build something decent. Build something that farmers like. Stuff that works. Stuff that holds up. The kind of stuff you don't hang on the wall. The kind of stuff that don't break down in the middle of the field while you're in the middle of your harvest. The kind of stuff that can get the job done this year, next year, and for your son, whenever that day comes. Think about it. Stop giving your money to John Deere. God bless you.